They told me I had DKA. My blood sugar was 840 something, which is deadly. It's your girl Lee
and Jordy,
and we're back again with yet another episode. I'm feeling the holiday spirit. I don't know about you. Jordan has it all nice and Christmas-like in here, which is kind of weird for me because growing up, like, we never put up Christmas decorations before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So, I'm trying to, the Christmas tree's up in my house. So, I don't know.
We need a little extra Christmas spirit this year.
You know what? Because, baby,
yeah,
it's been a mess.
It's been a whole mess.
But you know what? As always, we have some games. And I'm so excited because we have a new game. And Jordan and I are still trying to figure out what we're going to call it. For now, we're just going to call it One Song Forever because that's the first thing that popped into my mind. So, we'll do our old game first and then we'll save the new game for second. So, the first game is Two Truths and a Lie.
Two Truths and a Lie.
Because last time we both sucked. So we're going to try to redeem ourselves this time. So Jordan, you can go first.
Oh God. Let's see. I've been to Toronto. I've been to Hawaii. I've been to North Carolina.
I don't think you've been to Hawaii.
I've been to Hawaii.
When did you go to Hawaii?
When I was 2.
Do you see the foolery? So you haven't been to Toronto?
No, I haven't been to North Carolina.
Oh, you never been to North Carolina?
Mm-mm.
North Carolina?
Yeah, I've never been there.
Y'all know I was born there. Fun little facts.
In North Carolina? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're not from here.
I hate when people say that because I've been here since I was 4. This is all of that I know. But it's so weird though because like when I got my passport, you have to put your birth certificate. Mm-hmm. So it said North Carolina, and I was like, what the fuck? And I was like, oh. I forgot I was born in another state. Thanks to my military parents. All right. Okay, I got mine. I tried to memorize them. Okay, I've had a rabbit named Hope. I've had a goat named Junior. And I've had a turtle named Snappy.
You didn't have a rabbit.
I did have a rabbit.
You didn't have a goat?
I didn't have a turtle.
I knew you had a goat. I knew this girl would have a fucking goat.
So
she wouldn't even want to have a damn goat.
My brother wanted a goat, and so we got a goat. His name was Junior. My dad used to breed rabbits in our backyard. He's so country, y'all. And so I was excited because one of the moms was giving birth to him, and she started to eat the rabbit. And so we end up Googling it, and if they feel like the baby is in danger, they'll eat it.
Hamsters do that too.
I was like, what the? I was like, Dad, something is happening. He was like, girl, nothing happening. I'm like, she's eating, like, because I kept seeing her, like, nibble at him. And she was eating them. The rabbit ended up dying. I only had him for, like, 3 weeks, but I tried to nurse him back to health. But he ended up getting too cold because I wasn't able to keep it. Ended up being the wintertime, too. So I tried to keep him as warm as possible, but I had to go to school. So I would, like, wrap him up. Girl, it was a mess. I cried when that rabbit died. It was... Y'all know I'm a huge crybaby. I cried. I don't think I went to school the next day. It was so traumatizing.
Aww.
And I named him Hope because I was like, Lord, we need a blessing.
I had a guinea pig.
Yeah, I had a hamster.
Her name was Ruby.
That's cute.
Yeah, and I had a hamster and well, I forget the original name, but then she bit somebody, so we named it Vampire. So
I had a hamster. His name was Hemp. I didn't name him that. He was given to me, and then Hemp ended up dying in Hurricane Rita.
Oh,
because he got too hot.
Oh damn.
We tried to escape, and I was like right after Katrina, so everybody in Houston was acting crazy, and we literally were in traffic for 12 hours to get to San Antonio. We barely made it to like the west side of Houston.
Damn.
It was crazy. Whew.
Damn.
Anyway, okay, so our next game is a Song of a Lifetime, and so what we're gonna do is give each other 4 artists. And we have to pick one song that we would listen to for a lifetime. So let's just say this is the only song this artist ever came out with. What is your favorite song? that
That's tough.
they play. Like this is the only, like we're gonna do this scenario. This is the only song that you can listen to from this album, like this from this person's
Ever
repertoire. Okay. So you got your 4 artists.
I'll come up with somebody.
Okay, well I'll go first then.
Okay. I have at least one.
Okay, well I have my 4. So my first one is Jasmine Sullivan. That's my girl. 2 Fantasia, 3 Chris Brown, 4 John Legend.
Oh, okay. Jasmine Sullivan. It'd be gosh, it's so hard because it's either between Stuttering or In Love with Another Man.
Stuttering, definitely.
Yeah. It was, yes.
Okay, you gotta pick one. Come on.
Okay, Stuttering.
Okay.
And then it was who? Fantasia?
Fantasia.
Oh. Probably For Yourself.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't really listen to a lot of Fantasia. No, Truth Is. Chris Brown. Oh my God. Talk about, you're gonna ask a Chris Brown fan about one song. Okay, let's do Proof. And then John Legend again.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my jam. Okay, first person is Whitney Houston.
Okay.
Second person is Yolanda Adams.
Okay.
Third person is, let's do a guy, Division.
Okay.
Fourth person is Summer Walker.
My girl. Okay, Whitney Houston. I don't really listen to a lot of Whitney. I know she's a legend, but I would say, what's the song? Don't make me close.
Oh, okay. If I Have Nothing.
I Have Nothing. I Have Nothing. We said
Yolanda.
Yeah. Ooh, the battle is not yours. It's the Lord.
That's my song.
That's my go in song, you know. But that's just the way to live life. It's not. Yeah. This is not our battle. It's God's, right? Division. Ooh, I'm gonna go. Oh, I can't even think of the actual name of the song. Should be here. Keep Calm.
Okay.
That's my shit. Keep Calm. It's a tie between Keep Calm and then Again.
Yeah.
Tight. And then Summer Walker, nobody else. Period. That was probably the easiest one. Nobody else is my jam.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. So we're about to go into what's the word. And it's been just a lot going on in the world, you know?
A lot.
So we're gonna start with, I kind of want to do a combination of both. So as we know, COVID vaccine is apparently out. It's 95% effective. Okay, is you getting it or no?
Hell no.
You know? No. Okay, here's the thing, y'all. Here's the thing. I know it's new. And I know this is something that we're putting into our bodies. And I'm not saying I'm gonna run out and get it, but I do like everybody been talking about the vaccine, but then nobody don't want to put it in their body. So, but why was we rushing? Why were we making such a big deal about the vaccine?
Black people don't want to put it in their body. White people can do whatever they want.
I don't think it matters what color you are, though. We just need.
I think a lot of people are stuck on the syphilis thing. And
from back in the day, yeah. I mean, I want to say that was a little different, but that was like a forcive thing. Like I very well believe that they knew exactly what they were doing.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm not saying it's that to that extent, but I think that's why people are like, fuck no.
Okay. I'm just upset that we're still talking about COVID. Like I went out like Friday and I was giving myself 3 days too. Like I didn't do anything for the past since then because I was like, okay, let me kind of see. But I'm upset that we're still talking about this. Like I'm irritated that this is still a thing. And then like, you know, and I've known so many people to get it and thank God they're fine. They didn't really like my best friend had, like I've known so many people to have had it. But then you hear things like Jeremiah's case that he's in ICU. Mm-hmm. And I've been seeing that a lot on the social medias platforms talking about pray for him, and you know it's just really just I guess it depends on like the person's body and what your body can take, and it just sucks, man. But I mean, again, it goes back to when I was talking to people about like the flu. I've known some people to get the flu and be sick, like dog sick, and then I've known some people and it's just like little mild cold symptoms.
I don't want to find out.
I don't want to find out.
I know that's for sure.
Don't want to find out either. We just gonna keep praying, y'all. Like I don't know, but I just be feeling like we're gonna wake up in 2021 and maybe be like, this was all a joke.
Please. A sick joke.
A sick and cruel joke.
Sick.
Okay, so next up, I feel like she's really just like the topic of the week. My girl Megan Thee Stallion, man. I told Jordan at the beginning of the year that this was Megan's Cardi year. She didn't get the husband and the baby.
No.
But she's having a phenomenal year. So Megan Thee Stallion was named GQ's Rapper of the Year. She also has a new album coming out. I think it's Good News. It's coming out. And then she also has her Fashion Nova line that's dropping tonight at 11:59 p.m. And Jordan and I are trying to stay open with our eyes peeled to the day freaking computer screen so that we could try to get a couple pieces.
Right.
So at least a couple pieces. But and then also it was in the media that she's saying that Tory Lanez offered her and Kelsey some money to stay on the hush about the shooting. And I'm just kind of like, sis, stop giving us little nuggets. What happened?
At this point, just
stop talking about it. Either A, stop talking about it, or B, let us know what's up. Like, we're happy.
Basically.
We happy. Yeah, no, I think I'm young by year.
What happened?
We happy, but my girl Megan,
no, she's doing great. Aside from the bullshit,
you making H-Town proud, sweetie. Like first Beyonce, which was the all-time flex. Now you sis, like
she's doing great.
She's doing great. You sleepy pumpkin?
No, I guess.
Anyway, girl. Okay, so next we kind of wanted to talk about the random violence that's going on. So
random.
Boosie has gotten shot. Is it Mo or Mo? Mo has gotten shot from Dallas. Benny the Butcher done got shot.
King Von
done got
killed
and murdered. Yeah, so I'm just like, have you seen Johnson Family Vacation? He was like, shot. And he was throwing the CD.
Oh yeah.
I'm just like, everybody's getting shot. What's going on? So, what are your thoughts about our black men dying?
That was tripping. First of all, let's start there. Y'all niggas tripping.
Crazy.
I heard it's speculation, but it's like a beef going on, which is why all the violence is happening. Regardless, I wish people would just value life more. Yeah. Value the life of others.
What happened to beefing and squabbing instead of?
Can we just fight? I mean, I'm not even for violence in that regard either, but
I feel like some people gotta fight. Yeah, I do believe that some people feel like they gotta fight it out. I've never been that kind of person to feel like I gotta put my hands on somebody. Right. But I mean, that's better than just ending somebody's life and taking them away from their kids, their parents, their significant others.
It's just a lot. It's too much.
It's too much. You're doing too much. I'm scared to tell somebody their shoe untied. They might shoot me.
Girl. The thing is, and it's crazy, is that you can't even go and like, what is it? Not consult, but approach anybody. Like if you have an issue. Yeah. Like you can't even approach anyone if you have an issue without being scared they might like even like a bag on you or something. It's crazy.
Girl, even like like when people be like cutting you off on the freeway and stuff, you hug. People like, don't hug at them, they might shoot you. I'm like, really?
I'm hung. But I like this last weekend I was at a light. I guess it was like a fender bender type situation, whatever. Somebody might have bumped somebody. Dude got out the car, girl. I'm fucking scared. Okay? I don't know if he had a gun or not, but I could see like people was pointing, emotions would look like they was getting a little riled up. I was like, oh hell no, let me get the fuck out of here. Cause you just never know.
So I went to an event on Friday. Now this wasn't like a road rage or anything type of situation, but it was like a little gathering, and the cops came and shut it down. And there was a guy there, and he was very belligerently, very clearly drunk. And so he was like, you know, talking to police officers, kind of like he was being rude. He was like, you know, being disrespectful, like, y'all always be trying to shut people's shit down and stuff like that. But the officer, and he was white, was like going back and forth with him and like, I'll take you to jail. And the guy was like, you gonna beat me to death? And he was like, I will. And I'm just like, sir, he's clearly drunk. And so I kept trying to call the guy's brother to come get him and try to de-escalate the situation. But I didn't want to make mention of that because I'm just kind of like, okay, at some point you have to like, you as a sober person or you as a person of authority sometimes just need to realize that you could do a better job. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no reason for you to be going back and forth with someone who is clearly drunk. The man was clearly drunk. And you're like, do you want to go to jail, sir? I'll beat you to that. I'm like, he gonna wake up and not remember none of this, and meanwhile you gonna be all over Instagram tomorrow.
Exactly.
Like, the world. I'm just like, I agree with Jordan. Like, let's put more value on life. You know what I'm saying? And I just really feel like there are like 50,000 ways you can leave this earth. Let the hands of someone else not be one of them.
Exactly.
Can we just agree, followers? Our Curvy crew friends, please. Can we just agree to not do that? I don't know. Yeah, that's all I have for what's the word, but
straight to the point.
Straight to the point. You know, it's. I mean, besides, you know, I cannot wait to see them take this U-Haul truck and move the orange man up out of the White House. Baby, your time is up. Let's go. You got to go. Baby, somebody said they're gonna pull Trump out of that house like Charles did Helen on Diary of a Mad Black Man. Oh, sir, your time is up.
He did her dirty, but they could do Trump like that for sure.
And I just really feel like, sir, just lose peacefully. You know? Like, go. You knew your time was up. Jordan is clearly.
I don't know what's going on, y'all. I have not a clue.
She didn't.
I didn't even stay up late last night.
Not getting me good sleep last.
I don't know. Shit. I did need a nap earlier.
You know what? As I get older, I'm learning the importance of a nap.
Maybe. Because usually I take a quick nap on lunch for like an hour. Yeah, not today.
Girl, Sunday, I went to bed at like 8 o'clock. I had did me a little facial. I had my little.
I saw your little eye patches on.
Baby, next thing I know, it was 2 o'clock in the morning. I was like, eye patches all dry and shriveling. I was like, well.
It be like that, man. I think, what day was it? Yesterday. I was on the phone and I just fell asleep. Don't even know what time it was. I woke up, all the lights on.
I hope our boss don't watch this, but I fell asleep on that call the other day. I told y'all. I was like, I literally was like, I was like, oh Lord. I had to ask a question so they didn't know I was.
I did that on accident once. I woke up, nobody was in the meeting.
Now I like to stay on at the end of the meeting too to see who don't log out, because I'm like, that ass is either not paying attention or asleep. Sad.
Oh, I woke up like, oh shit.
I be wanting to yell at people too, because like it be irritating me. Like we've been working from home since March 19th, and it be people that still get on the call with their dang phone not on mute. We hearing them yell at the children, dog barking, right, walking in the park. I'm like, at this point you should be a Zoom pro. Okay.
Hello.
Get in here.
Ain't had nothing but practice.
Nothing. Get in here and cut that shit off and quit playing.
Don't even have it on when you enter. Literally. Just make sure your shit on mute.
Everything needs to be off.
Hello?
Oh, funny story though, because on Saturday I had to work and I forgot that it was recording. We had to record it. Oh. Girl, all I had on was a bra. So I was logging on because I was going to throw my shirt on real quick because I logged on like 30 minutes before. And it was like, this session is recording. I was like, trying to hide my goodies. Oh Lord, it's been a mess. But anyway, I'm gonna move on to our segment. So this is our only segment, and Jordan really had made it a point for us to talk about this. So for those of you who don't know, November is Diabetes Awareness Month. Okay, so I just want to come to you, and we're also gonna have a special guest that's gonna be sharing some some her light on her experience with diabetes. She's also a type 1 and she's also a sorority sister of mine. So, but before we do that, I did kind of just want to explain what diabetes is. I've noticed, like, being a young person with diabetes and just kind of like maneuvering through life, a lot of people don't exactly know what it is, right? They just think, oh, you can't have cupcakes, you can't have
soda,
candy,
you can't have cake, you can't have.
And they think about Big Mama getting a leg cut off.
Yeah.
Nobody's cutting off of my leg, and that's that. Okay. But so I just kind of wanted to give you guys, you know, a synopsis. So basically, Jordan is a normal, I'm gonna say normal person, non-diabetic. So she has a pancreas. So this is the pancreas, right? Every time Jordan eats something with sugar, which for those of you who don't know is pretty much everything in the world that breaks down into sugar eventually, carbs, actual, you know, things that we consider sweets. So she'll eat it, it'll go into her body, and then her pancreas will say, oh, alarm, sugar. And it'll inject insulin, right? So her pancreas will start injecting things. Me, as a diabetic, I'll eat something with sugar and my pancreas goes, nothing, right? As a type 1. And I'll explain what type 1 and type 2 is. So type 1, my pancreas is doing very, very little to none. So nothing. So I eat sugar and it's like, it may expand, it may give me a little bit, but pretty much no. Type 2, your pancreas is giving you some insulin, but not nearly enough to sustain. Right? So what is insulin? Insulin is what keeps your sugar level at a normal pace. Okay? So again, I also mentioned that there's two. There's type 1 diabetics, there's type 2. So type 1 diabetes is also normally associated with juvenile diabetes, meaning that you were born with it, and then again also that you're insulin dependent. Okay? And then type 2 is like the most common one. You see people who are maybe obese or older, and you can also get rid of type 2. So those are the two differences. And a lot of times, like I said insulin dependent will be the type 1. Type 2, sometimes they do have to use insulin, but maybe like once a week, and then also they'll be on, those are the things like metformin, those type of medicines that help keep your sugar regulated. Okay. I also wanted to talk about the side effects of diabetes and what diabetes affects. So diabetes is an endocrine thing, so it's a hormonal thing. Excuse me. So when people don't take care of their diabetes, this is when you, again, I made the little Big Mama reference, it starts to affect the blood capillaries. So they'll stop, it's called neuropathy. You'll start losing feeling maybe in your toes, your hands, and so that's where you start seeing the amputations, because when you can't feel things, they normally cut it off so that it doesn't get infected, because when things get affected, then that's, you know, it'll spread, and then that's why they normally will amputate things. This also can affect your vision, which, you know, people lose eyesight, something like that. To me, that's probably the most scary aspect of it.
Is that with both type 1 and type 2?
Yes.
Okay.
So the effects of diabetes, no matter what type you are the same. Okay. So we have those things. And then, I mean, again, it affects just overall, I know with the COVID and everything else too, you know, people with just raging diabetes and not taking care of themselves, I know that that's been an issue for them as well. So those are just some of the side effects, but I'm sure, you know, everything starts to go into like liver, kidney, not take care of your diabetes also can help cause kidney failure. So there's just so much that can go on when you're not taking care of your diabetes. Okay.
And I think it's good to mention, like, because I was diagnosed with prediabetes at one point. That is literally it, the pre-onset to
diabetes.
full-blown diabetes, which is also reversible. So what are some of the, and you might touch on this a little bit later, but like some of the symptoms that somebody could like, you know, recognize? That's
a great question. So some of the symptoms that you may be experiencing, which, you know, maybe I'm diabetic or pre-diabetic or type 2, type 1, whatever the case may be. And then I'll also tell you guys my story. So I experienced all of these. So it started out with uncontrollable urination. So I had to use the bathroom like within an hour. I maybe go to the bathroom at least 3 or 4 times. That's crazy, right?
That's a lot.
Because my body was trying to release all of that, and that's where it goes into like your kidney and your bladder and things like that. My body was trying to release all that excess sugar, and the only way your body knows how to release things is through urination or, you know, pooping or whatever. So I was peeing a lot. And then my mouth was super dry. So I was and nothing could quench my thirst. I would drink a lot of milk because milk was like coating my mouth. And I just love milk in general. Drinking a lot of milk, drinking a lot of water. Nothing would make me like less thirsty. Nothing was quenching my thirst. And my mouth was literally, y'all, I'm not joking, white. Like stark white. It was crazy. So mouth was dry. What else? Oh, so I end up within because I started getting sick. It was maybe like a 3 week to 4 week span. I lost about 15 pounds within those 3 weeks. I couldn't keep anything down. And what eventually made me go to the hospital was I started throwing up water. I couldn't even keep water down, right? And the last thing that sent me over the edge is just something else that you should watch is my vision started to get very blurred. So I was driving one day, this is the night I actually went to the hospital. I was driving one day and I was like, man, I can't see. It was like everything was real glazed. It was real, it was affecting my eyesight. So those are some things that you can watch, and that was also like my story that led me to DKA, which is diabetic ketoacidosis, which I ended up getting diagnosed with. So I went to the emergency room that night. They told me I had DKA. My blood sugar was 840 something, which is deadly, like crazy deadly. As a diabetic, my sugar should be somewhere between 80 and 140. So 8 something is like literally everybody in the hospital was like, how did you walk in here? And I really truly make it well, one, God, but two, because I was so young. So I was 21 when I was diagnosed. I was so dehydrated, y'all. I was so dehydrated that they could not start me an IV in my hand or my regular, like where they start IVs. So they had to start me an IV in my neck. Ugh. Y'all. Oh my God. Talk about painful. Every time, how y'all know I'm real theatrical. Every time I was moving my neck, there was a needle in my neck. Jesus. Right? So I just remember, and I was so out of there, y'all. I just remember he said, Miss Thomas, we're gonna have to give you an IV in your neck. And I'm like, excuse me? No, the hell you not. But so they gave me my IV. I was in ICU for 3 days on an insulin drip. So insulin drip is trying to keep my sugar down, try to maintain my sugar. And that's what another 3 days in the regular hospital eating dog shit, because that's what they feed you in the hospital. So yeah, so that's my story about how I was diagnosed, and I was told I have type 1 diabetes. Now, for those of you, I don't know if I mentioned it on the show, my mother is adopted, so it could very well be somewhere on my mom's side. I'm not exactly sure, but I was born with diabetes, and it was just dormant in my body until a stress buildup, and it was my senior year, and I was doing a lot. So yeah, that's my story of how I was diagnosed. Okay, and then so the last thing that I wanted to talk about before we bring on our special guest, or before we talk to her, is the difference between low and high blood sugar. So like I was saying earlier, a lot of times it's a very common misconception. I even have friends and people try to tell me, oh, can you eat this? Can you do that? Okay, so as a diabetic, especially as a type 1 diabetic, I have a lot of low blood sugar moments. So there's a difference between high blood sugar and low blood sugar. And any diabetic, especially a type 1 diabetic, will tell you like diabetes can only really just be managed. It's very difficult for us to manually give ourselves the insulin and do what the body does automatically, right? And so sometimes I'll eat things and maybe I'll give myself a little too much insulin, and so which will cause me to have a low blood sugar moment. Now, low blood sugar moments results in, like, a lot of times I feel like I'm just like in a daze, like I'll just be like stuck, dizziness, passing out, things like that. High blood sugar moments when my sugar is too high, I'm normally really grumpy, I'm really hungry, and then also low blood sugar moments, I'm like super hungry, like I'm looking for like I hate like going to get something to eat when I have a low blood sugar, because I'm like, I want a hot dog, I want ice cream, I want the fries, I want tacos, like I'm just so hungry, right? So I did kind of want to give you guys a little story, because I've told you about my high blood sugar moment, which is when I found out I was diabetic. But recently I had a really scary low blood sugar moment. So I went out with Jordan to our friend Katya's party, and I kept saying I was hungry. I had just been like moving throughout the day. I hadn't had anything to eat. And so we get to Katya's house, Lord, and she didn't really have no food. She had like little snacks. And a thing about me, I'm not a big cheese fan. So she had like nachos, and I was thinking there was gonna be like meat, but she had like nachos with no meat, and I didn't want to just like eat cheese. So I ended up not really eating there, and I was already drinking, so I was kind of drunk. And then by the time Jordan got me home, it was like 2 o'clock in the morning. So I was like, I'll just go to bed, even though I knew my sugar was low. So number one, as a diabetic, that's a no-no. You never go to sleep with the low blood sugar, which I did. So my body woke me up around like 6 o'clock that morning, 6 or 7 o'clock that morning, and I felt so dizzy. And so I got up in my bed to like put my arm like on my head to like, and my whole arm fell. Yeah. My whole right side of my body was numb. I couldn't feel the whole right side of my body, right? So I get out of bed and I fall on the floor because I cannot move my right side of my body. So I proceeded to try to call my roommate, but I couldn't because I couldn't talk. So my speech is slurred. I'm like, I could barely talk. Like, I'm trying to call somebody, but I can't use the right side of my body. So I literally, my first thought is, I've had a stroke. My first thought, okay? So, I really feel like God is so intentional. So we had a golf tournament at work, and I had took home like a whole bunch of orange juices because we had a whole bunch of leftover orange juice. And I had took them home. I was supposed to bring them to that brunch that I had the day previous. But the caterer ended up bringing orange juice, so I left all the orange juice in my room because I hate to leave stuff in the main room because I just feel like I have a roommate, so I try to like, you know, put my stuff in my room. So I put the orange juice in my room. I looked up, I seen the orange juice. Now, thing too, when you're diabetic, orange juice is like your best friend because orange juice will immediately spike your blood sugar, right? So I look over, I see the orange juice. I'm having to crawl on my right side because I cannot move my right side of my body.
Left side.
Left side. No, I can't move the right side of my body. So I'm crawling. Yeah, I'm crawling on my left side of my body. I grab the orange juice. I try to open it with my right hand. Y'all, just continually trying to move my right hand because I'm like, you know, when your arm falls asleep, so you just keep moving it. No, I'm like, it's falling. Like I literally feel like numb. So I have to put the orange juice in between my legs, squeeze it, open it with my left hand, and I'm literally, y'all, I had orange juice. I had to literally like scrub my carpet afterwards. I had orange juice all over the floor because I'm trying to drink it with my left hand. I drank 4 bottles of orange juice. By the time I get to the point where I can check my blood sugar, I don't have one on today, but I normally have a monitor on where I can just scan it on my phone. When I get enough strength in my arm to scan it, my sugar was 19. Again, 80 to 140.
What the fuck?
80 to 140, right? This is my numbers, 80 to 140. 19, that's literally scary. If I truly believe if I would have stayed asleep, I probably would have been in diabetic coma. I'm talking about it now. I can talk about it. I can smile about it. But the shit was scary, right? So as I'm drinking orange juice, I end up calling my mom because I can't get in contact with my roommate because I can barely yell. I'm able to like hit numbers on my phone. I end up getting in contact with one of my best friends, Wayne, and my mom, because those are the last people I talked to. I was able to hit their numbers. So I didn't want to call my mom because I knew she was gonna freak out when she heard my voice because I couldn't talk. So end up coming over. I end up being fine. I end up going to my lawn sister's bridesmaid proposal that weekend. That goes to show you, you don't always look like what you've been through. But I say all that to say, diabetes is very, 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 very serious. I encourage people to get to learn a little bit more about it instead of the whole, like, I call your grandmother's diabetes, where you just feel like, oh, I'm not supposed to have a cupcake. That's just not the case, guys. There's so many different levels to diabetes. There's so much to learn. Low blood sugars, high blood sugars, where I will need a cupcake. You know, I need a cookie. I need a soda. So don't just assume that when you see someone that's diabetic eating certain things that you know what's going on within their body, because you don't. And then let's also be honest, I'm 26 years old. If you think Aliyah and I gonna ever eat a cupcake again, you are sadly mistaken, okay? Because I love cupcakes. And I will have another one. I will have a whole bunch because I'm going to live my 70-year promise. And in between 26 and 70, I'm going to have some cupcakes. Okay? So,
yes,
I deserve a cupcake. But I just wanted to share that with you, and I appreciate Jordan for like imploring me to like, I'm trying to be more open about it. Sometimes I feel like a robot because I don't know if y'all know, and I was going to show you guys, but I'll let our special guest talk about how she injects herself with insulin, and maybe on the page I'll show you guys how I use my insulin patch. But yeah, I sometimes feel like a robot having stuff stuck onto my body and everything, but this is my life.
She's a robot. I'm a walking pharmacy. I mean, hey.
You know, it is what it is, and I just, you know, I want to encourage people to learn more about other people's disease. Like, I really want to learn more about Jordan's MS and things like that before I just start talking about it like I know, because I have no clue. I have no idea what's going on within her body. So that's all for our diabetic segment. I hope I taught you guys some things. If you want to comment or DM us, I will be more than happy to answer it. If I don't know the answer, I can find the answer for you because this is only my 4th year being a diabetic. I got diagnosed when I was 21, but I turned 22 the next month. So my diabetic versary, I guess. Diaversary or whatever is like March 31st. So just, I'm learning along with you and I'm doing the best that I can. And yeah, so thanks for listening.
I also wanted to add, if you aren't diabetic but you have a history in your family of type 2, go get your blood work done. Mm-hmm. Get your blood work done.
You can get
your A1C checked. You can go to Walmart and get your A1C checked. You can go to LabCorp. You can go to any place to get your A1C checked. That's how I found out that I was pre-diabetic. Keto actually helped me with reversing that. And even now that I'm not technically pre-diabetic, my last blood work said I was pre. So I wasn't pre-diabetic, but I was like very much on the cusp
there.
So, if you are experiencing some of the symptoms that she discussed, definitely cut back. You can just cut back. On the sugars and stuff
Breads,
like that.
Carbs.
Yes, because these are the silent killers that people talk about. High cholesterol, high blood pressure, diabetes. You don't know.
Especially people of color.
Exactly. You don't know unless you get your blood work done.
Yes.
So make sure you take care of yourselves. I'm very happy that she has this platform to share and advocate for herself and others because I think that's very important, especially as women of color, Black women. We need to know these things. Mm-hmm. So I can't wait to hear from our special guest.
And we're back. As we told you, we have a special guest, and her name is Tajah Russell. And she's also a sorority sister of mine. So I'm so glad to have her because she is also a type 1 diabetic. And so she's going to be giving us some more insight as we continue to celebrate Diabetes Awareness Month. So how are you doing, Soror?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Yes, thank you so much. And I kind of want to give a brief story. So I'm not exactly even sure how I started following you, but her and another soror of mine did like a type 1 diabetes photo shoot. Y'all, it was so dope. I'm gonna try to send the pictures to Jordan so she can insert them. And I was so inspired. I literally sat in my room and cried because I was like, oh my gosh, you have no, seriously. And Jordan knows I'm a crybaby, so don't do it. So, and I was just like, oh my gosh, this is so great because a lot of times, and we'll get into it, I just feel like a weirdo. So I'm so glad to know I was not alone, and that really kind of gave me the I guess inspiration I needed to share a little bit more about my diabetes because I used to get mad at people when they ask me questions. I'm like, leave me alone. I'm tired of talking about it. I just want to be a normal person. So anyway, I'm gonna ask you a few questions and feel free to give us as much knowledge as you have and expand on things because I'd say I'm a baby diabetic because I got diagnosed in 2016, so right before my 22nd birthday. So kind of tell us, when you were diagnosed and how you found out that you were a type 1 diabetic and how you, took it.
Okay. I was diagnosed February 4th, 2007. So I was in the 7th grade. For about a week and a half, I was losing a lot of weight. I lost 15 pounds, frequent urination. I was always thirsty, very dehydrated, always tired. And I ate a lot. So my mom was the first person to notice these things going on with me. She actually asked me if I was anorexic, and I was like, no, you see me eat all the time. I eat all the time, so I'm not understanding why I'm losing so much weight. And I would get up in the middle of the night and just drink whatever was in the refrigerator, from the gallon. I was so thirsty, but nothing was ever working. And then at school, every 5 minutes I have to go to the restroom. And my teachers would be like, Tajah, you just went. I'm like, I understand that, but I really have to go. So at some point, I would just stay in the restroom for 30 minutes because I'm not just going to keep getting back up and down to go to the restroom. And then, like I said, I was always tired. I remember this one, it was a Friday before I got diagnosed. We were at nutrition, which is 15 minutes. So everybody got their snacks or whatever. We were all just hanging out, chilling. And I just got a wave of just dizziness and I had to sit down. And they're like, what's going on? I'm like, I don't know. I just don't feel good. And I have a twin. And my twin brother was like, I think you're diabetic. She's like, you got a lot of signs. I was like, well, don't say that. Like, how do you even know that? We're in 7th grade. How do you know what diabetes is? I don't even know what that is. So after that, I think it was a Sunday. So I was diagnosed a day before my mom's birthday and a week before I turned 13. So my mom took me to the hospital that Sunday. She told the nurses what was going on. So we went to the ER. They took my sugar. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was extremely high. So that's when they admitted me. I had 2 different IVs. One was like nutrients, and I was on an insulin drip as well. And then I just remember the doctor coming in just like, you're type 1 diabetic, and we have to keep you for a few days. And I just cried. So I was young. I was only 12 years old. I didn't know what was going on, and I just wanted to go home with my brothers. Like, it was hard to process. And I was starving, and they wouldn't let me eat. I didn't understand why. And they're like, well, we have to monitor like how you're doing, but you're going to get all the nutrients you need through your IV. I'm like, okay, I understand that, but I'm hungry. So I was mad in the hospital. I was a little defiant, and I was extremely sad because I just didn't want to be away from my family, didn't want to be away from my friends. At that time, I was really into school, so I was mad that I was missing so many days of school. So I was in the hospital for like 4 or 5 days. That's where they taught me how to get myself insulin, how to check my sugar, what to eat, when not to eat. I was sent home with like charts to manage my sugars. I literally had like a chart on my wall. My mom would wake me up at like 7 o'clock in the morning so I can check my sugar. She bought me like a lot of like sugar-free snacks, like sugar-free Jell-O, sugar-free cookies, and like she made the whole family just change their diets. Like everybody had to change what they ate because she wanted me to feel a lot more comfortable. And then going back into school, so as a diabetic, like all your insulin just isn't gone from your body. So I was still in like the honeymoon stage, so my body was still creating a little bit of insulin, but it just wasn't enough. So like during PE, my sugar would get low all the time. So I was always in the nurse's office for like a month or 2 straight when I was first diagnosed. And I would just sit there with her and eat my lunch and take my medicine, do my homework and stuff because she wanted to closely monitor me. And then, yeah, that's really how it went when I was first diagnosed. I was always at the doctor, maybe like every 2 or 3 months. And to be honest, I didn't really like going to the doctors. I always felt like I was in trouble with my doctor because my A1C was so high. But at that time, I was so young and like I didn't really process what was going on with me. So like I didn't really take it serious. I didn't like taking my medicine, didn't like checking my sugar. I still ate what I wanted to eat. And then I think my A1C was like 12%, and that's when he was like really like hard on me, and I just didn't like that. So he like made a deal with me. He's like, if you get your sugar down and like your A1C down to 70%, like I forgot what he said he would get me, but I took that as a challenge, and that's when I started like to turn around what I was eating, exercising more, and just being more in control of how I felt and managing my diabetes better.
I just totally had like a moment too, Tajah, because I sometimes do hate going to see my endocrinologist because you low-key feel like somebody's yelling at you. And I'm like, sis, I'm doing the best I can. Like, you know,
right. You're not the one going through it. I am.
Yes. And I literally had a whole breakdown one time in the doctor's office. I think I told Jordan I was in there crying because she's like, Miss Thomas, you are killing yourself. And I'm like, I'm not trying to. I'm struggling. Okay, Tajah, thank you for sharing that. I also wanted to kind of go over, and I talked about it a little bit when me and Jordan pre-recorded, but about the difference between type 1 and type 2, and like, you know, kind of break that down for the viewers.
Okay, so type 1 is when our pancreas doesn't produce insulin at all. They don't know how we develop it. It can be environmental factors, genetic factors, but researchers and doctors just don't know. And for type 2 diabetes, they're insulin resistant, so their body is like still creating insulin, but they're not reacting to the insulin that's being created. And type 2 can be reversed through like healthy eating and exercise, but as type 1 diabetics, we're insulin dependent, so our bodies will never create insulin. which is why we have to either use pumps or just daily injections to give ourselves insulin whenever we eat or just period.
Okay. Thank you. And so that was actually a perfect segue because I wanted to talk about, as a type 1, we are insulin dependent and the different ways that we're able to give ourselves insulin. So I know we talked a little earlier about injections, so we can kind of go over that. And then I want you to share about your insulin pump, which again, I commend you because I just feel like the pump is so much. I watched your video that you posted, and we'll post it on the page if you don't mind, about how you were changing your insulin pump. And I was just like, oh my goodness, like, and I'm a diabetic myself, and I was just like amazed about like how you do this all the time. So if you kind of want to just give us a little information about that.
Okay, so you can either do injections, have a pump. I think some people inhale their insulin. I'm not really familiar with this. So with injections, you just take a needle. The needle is super small, so it doesn't really hurt unless you're injecting it into fat. Into muscle. So you're supposed to inject your insulin into fat, and that's where it doesn't hurt. But if you inject it into muscle, that's when it hurts. So it really just depends on what your doctor wants you to do. Because like you can correct. So correction means like if your sugar is above a certain point, you give yourself a correction factor. So say my sugar was 150, I have to give myself an extra unit of insulin to cover the fact that my sugar is a little higher. So there's two types of insulin. There's the fast-acting insulin, and then there's an insulin that acts in the background. It's not fast-acting, it's slow-acting. So it's like you would give yourself that in the morning or at night, and it just acts in the background. And the fast-acting insulin is when you're about to eat. So that covers all the carbs that you're eating. For my pump, it's pretty much the same thing, but I don't give myself injections. It's connected to me all day, every day, unless I'm taking a shower. And so with the insulin pump, there's a feature on here where it shows how many carbs I'm going to eat. So I just put in my carbs and I put in what my sugar is, and it automatically calculates how much insulin it's going to give me. So that's a bolus. And then the basal is what the insulin that's in the background, which is giving me my insulin 24/7. But when I bolus, that's when I'm going to eat. Like I said, my insulin pump is with me every single day, 24/7, unless I'm taking a shower, and I change my site every 3 days.
Yes. For everybody that's watching, yes, a lot.
That sounds familiar to my MS, because I had to give myself a shot every day, twice a day for however long, I don't even know. I had to change my sites.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's never fun.
That's why you can't be a diabetic or have MS or anything and be scared of needles. One of my friends just got diagnosed. Well, my friend's boyfriend just got diagnosed with diabetes, and we were talking about it, and he's like, he hates needles, and I was like, well, sir,
you're gonna have to get used to it.
I was like, yeah, no. So I did, okay, we just have a couple more questions. I did want to start talking about, again, because we shared when we were talking before we started recording, I used to be the person to get very offended, very upset when people would ask me certain things. I would tell people all the time, people see me, drinking a soda, and they're like, are you supposed to have that? And, like going on these tangents about what is the most common misconception about a diabetic, or what are some like of your pet peeves about, being a diabetic in like the outside world, thinking that, I joke with Jordan all the time that people think of diabetes and think about Big Mama getting her leg cut off, like what do you want to tell people about diabetes and the misconceptions?
I think the most annoying thing for me when I was diagnosed was like, oh, you're so skinny though. I'm like, it doesn't matter if I'm skinny. Like, I'm still diabetic. I didn't get it because I'm overweight or I was not eating healthy. I got it because my body just decided to stop creating insulin. That's what was so frustrating for me. And it was so disheartening because people are so ignorant about the different types of diabetes, which isn't their fault, but it's like, this isn't a joke. So it's like, you have to be more aware of what you're saying to people. So I think that's a really big misconception between like type 1 diabetes and type 2 diabetes. I think people just need to be more educated about it, which is why I want to raise more awareness and just educate people on like the different types of diabetes, just so they're more aware of their words. Words can be very hurtful. I remember I tweeted like diabetic jokes aren't funny. And I got attacked on Twitter. I'm like, I don't understand why people are so mad at me by saying this. Like, I'm the one that's dealing with it. It's not funny. And they're like, well, you should have tougher skin, and they're just making diabetic jokes. Like, it's not funny. Like, I can literally die from this. There's been plenty of times where I was hospitalized with diabetic ketoacidosis, which is when your sugar is way too high and it's acid in your body. So it's like, it's not funny. It'll never be funny. I think people just need to understand, like, it's not all about what I ate or the fact that I didn't exercise. Like, my body just decided to stop working correctly. So it's not fair to make these misconceptions. And that's why I feel like we always feel so isolated, because people don't really understand. They take it as a joke just because it's an invisible disease, and it's not funny. It'll never be funny.
I did not even know that was a thing. Like, I've always taken diabetes, blood pressure, high cholesterol so serious. I never know that people like joked about it. That's so crazy.
You know, people say things like, I don't know if Jordan, I won't say the person's name, but you remember I got into it with him because he was like, I want diabetes after drinking the Kool-Aid. And I was just like, that's not funny.
Yeah, no, that's not cool.
You know, and like, he just didn't understand. Like, eventually he apologized, but I'm like, it's not funny. This is something that like Tajah was saying, like, this is something that people die from, lose sight from, lose fingers, kidney failure, dialysis. Like, this is not, it's not funny.
Right.
Like, we're not making jokes about, you know, people dying in the street or being shot by the police. Like, it's not funny.
Right.
So I literally, like, this is doing some great things for my heart and my spirit, because I'm just like, these are things that I experienced too. And I feel, like I said, I don't want to like attack people, because like Tajah said, it's ignorance. But I mean, you know, and people have ignorance about different things. You just don't know. But before you speak on something, try your best to educate yourself. It's 2020. There's YouTube. There's social media. There is, again, like I found Tajah on social media, and I'm just like, oh my God, this is great. And I started, like, you know, looking into, you know, more people my age, especially like Black young women my age that are dealing with this, because like she said, she got diagnosed at 12. I just like feel for you, because at 21, I'm like, my life is over. Like, this is it. And, you know, I went through a long time where I just was like in denial. Like she said, eating what I wanted to eat. I'm like, whatever. I'm gonna just die from this anyway. And it seems like, Aliyah, why would you say that? But it's like, I'm so young and I want to live a long life. And I'm thinking, like, I have to do this for the rest of my life. You know? So before we close, I just wanted to give you the opportunity to just say any other things that you wanted to say about the disease, like where people can go to get more information, and like where they can find you on social media again, because I feel like, even if I know you're inspiring a lot of people, but if you haven't heard it, you definitely inspire me. So I definitely appreciate everything that you're doing. And I've seen something that you posted about I do want you to touch on that too briefly. I seen you were doing something about speaking about the cost of insulin. For those of you who do not know, it is extremely expensive. My heart goes out to anyone who does not have the proper insurance that they need to take care of this disease, because, I mean, I'll let you take over, but yeah.
Yeah, so when insulin was discovered, I think like 1922, I want to say. I don't remember the exact year. But the scientists who discovered it, they patented it for, I think, $1, like $3, so it could be affordable. But with the big pharmaceutical companies, they're so greedy and just worry about money. There's been like a 300% increase of insulin costs. So some people are literally paying $1,500 a month for insulin. And insulin is literally the only thing that keeps us alive. So I feel like insulin should be free. We didn't like make our pancreas stop creating insulin. So I'll never understand why it's so expensive. So I definitely feel for people who don't have insurance and who cannot afford their insulin. Like, I tell people all the time, like, imagine having to make the decision to pay your rent or buy insulin. And it's like, am I going to be homeless or am I going to slowly kill myself? And it's like, no one should ever have to make that choice. Because as diabetics, if we ration our insulin, that's what causes diabetic ketoacidosis, which is it can be extremely deadly. And there's been a lot of stories where diabetics are rationing their insulin and ultimately dying because they couldn't afford their insulin. So some states are starting to put a cap on insulin prices, which is great, but I still feel like it should be free. I hope one day it is free for all diabetics across the world. It should be. Fortunately, I do get my medicine for free just because of my insurance. So I encourage people to look into like whatever insurance they have, and if you don't make a certain amount, they should be able to give you your medicine for free. And that's what I discovered, which is why I get all my medicines for free, and I get all my diabetic supplies for free. Because as diabetics, we're not just buying insulin; we have to buy our supplies, our needles, our swabs, our lancets, things for our to check our sugar. And I have a pump, and I have a CGM, which is a continuous glucose monitor. So I have to buy all that. Well, I'm not buying it; it's free now. But every 3 months, I have to re-up on all this stuff, and it can get very expensive. So I think that's just important for everybody to know. Like, insulin should be for all, and it should be free. And I feel like I don't know what it's going to take to make people realize that the United States is literally killing diabetics for making it that affordable. So I've been advocating for that and just creating awareness about that as well.
I'm definitely gonna have to connect with you because this free medicine I need in.
I actually get my medicine for free too, so definitely. That's what I was trying to tell you.
Jordan.
I've been trying to tell you, I get my medicine for free. I do not pay anything for my MS.
Listen, both of you I will be contacting because Jordan knows I complain all the time, and for people to kind of get a figure monthly, I spend almost $300 on insulin, my Vigo patch, needles, the Freestyle Libre, et cetera, et cetera. That's not including endocrinologist visits. That's not including, whatever else comes up. So I definitely, God just be working because I'm like, hold on, I'm taking notes. Free insulin. Okay.
I do have a question for both of you. So Tajah, you said that you got yours pretty young, and I know Aliyah, you got yours in your early 20s. How did that weigh on your mental health? I know as a MS, a fairly new diagnosis, I was struggling very much so at 25. I only knew one other person with MS in my whole life. I barely knew what it was at all. And I know that my mental health kind of wavered a little bit. So how did that, Tajah, how did that for you as a 12-year-old weigh on you? And how are you okay? Like, are you okay now mentally? And same for you, Aliyah.
I feel like, I struggled then, I still struggle now. I think when I was younger, it was hard for me I just felt isolated and I felt alone. And like for me, I felt like my family wasn't really there for me the way that the way I felt like I needed them to be. And for a long time, I faulted them for that. Like I would tell my mom all the time, like, you guys never asked me how I was doing. You guys never asked me anything. It was just all about my sugar. It's like, oh, what's your sugar? What'd you eat today? Like, I don't want to answer all those questions all the time. What about how is Tajah doing mentally? Like, what do you need? I never got those questions ever. So that I had a lot of anxiety, a lot of depression growing up. I was really angry. And my family seen that. They didn't really understand what was going on. They felt like it was just puberty because I was 12 years old. But no, I was literally angry and I was depressed because I felt so isolated. No one really understood. And like I said, I was a twin. My twin was fine. So seeing my brother be fine and I'm not, that kind of put a damper on my spirits too. But now I don't really look at it that way anymore. I know my family did what they can. They were dealing with my mom and dad were dealing with their daughter being diagnosed with diabetes, and my brothers are dealing with their only sister being diagnosed with diabetes. And so I feel like it was a shock for them too, and they dealt with it in their own ways. But I know for myself, I feel like I just needed somebody to be there for me. And I feel like I was there for myself for a long time. But now that I'm 26 and I'm a lot more mature, I don't look at it that way anymore. Like I said, I just feel like they were dealing with it in their own ways. And they've gotten a lot better about being there for me. I have a really strong support system for my friends, my boyfriend, my family. They check on me a lot more, which I really appreciate. But there are days where I'm depressed. There are days where I have a lot of anxiety, especially when my sugar is too high or too low. Or it's just days where I just I'm sick of dealing with this. I'm pretty sure Aliyah feels the same way sometimes. I'm just sick of dealing with this. Why can't my pancreas do what it's supposed to do? So like I've questioned God a lot, like why me? But then I just found a lot of strength in being diabetic, and I just feel like, I don't know, I feel like he gave this to me for a reason, and I feel like the reason is to be strong and just bring awareness to what people are going through. But I will say I still deal with like depression, anxiety, not as much as I did when I was young, but I don't think it'll ever go away just because I still feel kind of isolated and no one really understands what we're going through except for other diabetics, even if they try to, but no one would truly understand what we're going through.
Right. What about you?
Like she's such my kindred spirit. Like literally, yeah, it's the same. I mean, I didn't cry. Like Jordan knows I'm such a crybaby. I didn't cry until I got home. So I remember I was in the hospital for 6 days. When I got, my parents took me, kind of like Tajah's parents, they took me. My dad bought me like a George Foreman grill. They were like, you got to eat healthy, da 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 da. I got home, I looked at myself in the mirror and I just broke down because I'm just like, what happened? Like, what happened? And at 21, it was my senior year in college. I'm in my prime, baby. I'm like, I'm not trying to wear no insulin patch. I'm cute. Like, what's going on? So, and again, like she said, people just ask you about your sugar. Like, you know, I've been places and sorority sisters, friends, they're like, oh, do you need some water? And I'm like, I'm fine, thank you. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like you're more worried about that and you forget that I'm a person with feelings. And like I was, you know, telling Jordan, when I found Tajah on Instagram, I was like, oh my God, this is great because I don't know anybody else my age with diabetes, especially type 1 diabetes, you know, and to get motivation to like do what you need to do is a struggle sometimes. Like she was saying earlier, like before you get on the pump, like I was doing injections and stuff, I would get depressed because I didn't want to go out to eat with anybody. So I didn't want anybody looking at what I was putting into my body. I didn't want anybody to see me check my sugar. I didn't want anybody to, you know, freak out if I'm like, it was so much. I didn't have to go to the bathroom, pull out all my stuff. I wanted to be a normal person. And people don't understand that it's like, this is something that every time I put something into my mouth, I have to figure out how much insulin I'm going to give myself. I give myself too much, then I'm sick and I'm dizzy. Jordan, Tajah, one time I had a moment at work. I almost passed out at work, and everybody's looking at me like and it's like, I don't want to say it's embarrassing, but it's like, I don't want to have to deal with this, you know. Right. I don't want people looking at me. And I don't know if you feel this way too. Me and Jordan laugh about it all the time. It's not funny, but we like laugh to mask our pain when you're applying for a job and it's like disabilities and it's like, hey, diabetes. And I'm like, what? And against, but I'm just like, why is diabetes next to missing a limb? I'm just trying to
it's just like, I don't feel disabled, but like, I'm glad it's on there because it can be disabling. And I feel like I'd rather you guys know that, again, I'm diabetic than me putting, I don't have a disability. But it is kind of just like, hey, like, this is kind of a disability that I have to deal with for the rest of my life.
Yeah, exactly. I know for me, I was so nervous. I did not say that I had a disability.
I didn't either.
I was fresh out of college and I was like, I need a job because I'm turning 26 and I need insurance because I need medicine. So like, it was this whole big just thing. And so I was like, well, I'm not going to put it on there because I don't need them to know just yet. I need to make sure I got the job first. And so it's really disheartening to feel that way. Exactly. That you just feel like you won't get accepted or you might be a corporate burden because you have a chronic illness. So yeah, I have one more question. So I know you guys talked about people being like sugar keepers or gatekeepers of your sugar. How do you determine when somebody's being just trying to like care, like just be like caring of you versus being your sugar keeper, I guess?
I feel like it's all in their tone. Like, if I feel like you're being genuine, then I'm not going to get offended. Like, when my boyfriend asks me my sugar is, I don't get offended because I know he genuinely cares. And like my family too. But it's like, if it's people that I don't really know and they're like saying stuff, it's like, you don't know what you're talking about and you're kind of like pissing me off now. Because you don't know if my sugar is low or not, which is why I'm drinking this juice.
Hello.
So it's like, you just need to be, like I said earlier, just be more careful with your words. And especially if you don't know me. Like, if you know me, I'm not going to get offended. If you don't really know me, like, just relax for a second. I got this. I've been dealing with this since I was 12. I don't need your comments right now.
I totally agree.
I was gonna say, Aliyah, because you've had some moments at work.
I've had some. Listen, and y'all know I have gone off on some people, because for me it's more so of I feel like if you genuinely care, like my mom, I became diabetic. My mom hit the ground running. She started getting books. She started watching videos. Like she really tried to engulf herself into learning my disease versus telling me to not drink a soda. You know what I'm saying? And I had to explain to like my line sisters or my friends, like, I understand your concern, but what research have you actually done to try to figure out what's going on with my body, except for, oh, Aliyah's eating a cupcake and she's not supposed to have it. You don't know what's going on in my body. And I tell people all the time, I'm 26 years old. Do you really think that I'm not going to ever eat a cupcake? I like cupcakes.
Right.
I'm not going to just put the cupcake away. Like, I'm not going to eat them every day or every week, but if you might just be catching me on a day that I wanted a cupcake. And so I agree. It's like, when you care about something, you invest in it. And so it's like, instead of you just telling me, or being my sugar keeper, I love that little saying. That's so cute. Hey, Aliyah, I saw this new video, or there's this girl on Instagram, like Jordan tells me all the time, there's this girl on Instagram, you should follow her, she's type 1 diabetic and she's talking about this. Like, that's someone who I feel is invested in my life and invested in my illness and truly is telling me stuff to, get better versus someone telling me to drink some water. And I don't know why people always, for some reason, as a diabetic, they always want me to drink water. I'm like, you should also be drinking water. We should all be
right.
Not just me, everybody. So, but I'm so glad you have such a great support system, because so weird. It's so, as I saw you and your boyfriend, y'all are so cute. And I was like, every time I date somebody, I'd be like, I be wanting to explain to them. They're like, what is that? I'm like, I'm dealing with it.
Yeah, like even from the beginning when we first met, he was so intrigued, like kind of like intrigued by it. He just wanted to be there for me. And like you said, like he invested into like learning more about diabetes, which I really appreciated. I do kind of feel bad sometimes because like when I'm asleep, my insulin pump will go off. And it's like, I know if it's annoying me, it's probably annoying him too, but he doesn't get annoyed by it. But it's just like, I still feel bad because he's subjected to like what I'm going through too. But he's been there for me since we've been together.
That's love though. I love it. This has been so great. I definitely want to have you back on again. I'm going to be reaching out to you if you don't mind. But I say I love people, but I just love you so much. And I really appreciate everything you're doing for the diabetic community, about awareness. And just like, again, like you say, you know, God gives you things for a certain reason. If nothing else, I feel like you've very much so helped me and it's so weird because somebody always told me like someone's always watching you, and I do watch you and I follow everything that you're doing, and I'm really inspired. And I just want to like, you know, commend you, and I wish you just like the best. We'll have to talk about this free insulin thing because I need to know.
Definitely.
And yeah. Also tell everyone where they can follow you on Instagram if you want to, and you know how they can get in contact with you if they have questions or anything.
Okay, so my Instagram is Tajah with 5 H's. That's my only social media. I'm pretty responsive to everybody. I've been getting a lot of people DMing me about diabetes and stuff. My page is private, but I do accept everybody pretty much when it comes to diabetes, just because I want to be a lot more open about what's going on, especially during the month of November, since it's Diabetes Awareness Month. I've been a lot more open about accepting people, just to bring more awareness and to educate everyone. But yeah, that's my social media. I reply, just DM me if you have any questions. I always tell people, don't ever hesitate to ask me anything. I'm more than happy to answer any questions about whether it's mental health for diabetes, how much insulin costs, just anything.
Awesome.
You're good.
Well, thank you so much. And thanks everybody for watching. As always, please like this video, thumbs up the video, and subscribe and hit the bell notification so you know when we post more videos. And if you have any other questions about Diabetes Awareness Month and you would like us to get in contact, just in case you didn't catch that, I know Jordan will put it on the screen. Just DM us and we will get you in contact.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Thanks for joining.
Thank you.
Okay, and now it's time for our Black-owned businesses. So we have 2 today. I'll go first. Her name is Generica Livingston, and her platform is Fit and Fine with Penelope. So ladies, I'm telling you, you should have your body snatched. She has lost 100 pounds naturally.
Oh wow!
And she looks great. She does a lot of 21-day challenges. She also has her own workout gear brand, and she sells it in plus size as well, which I'm very appreciative of.
Yes.
She's a trainer. And she also has her own like resistant band. So she is a boss chick doing it. Especially we just talked about diabetes and getting healthy and learning about your body. So what better way than to get a trainer? So if you're looking for a trainer, hit her up. Again, that's Fit and Fine with Penelope. And if you already are on your workout, go get some of her workout gear because it's cute and you know you like to look good.
Yes.
You look good, you feel good.
I always appreciate a person who was plus size and then, you know, hit their goal, but don't forget the plus size community.
She has some cute plus size clothes too.
That's good.
So shout out to Generica, and y'all run out and go follow her, and make sure you buy some of her stuff and support her.
Very good. Okay, so my black owned business is Little Missy Grapes. Little Miss E's Grapes. Her Instagram is Little Missy Grapes. Okay, so basically this black owned business sells decorated grapes. They're flavored. She has a multitude of flavors. She has Sour Patch grapes. She has Jolly Rancher flavors, Nerds, Lemon Heads, Margarita. Baby,
I'm hungry.
So if you are in the Houston area, honey, get you some grapes. They are fun and they're cute. Frozen. So yes, they are candy coated fruit and they're vibes.
They look cute.
Definitely be good in for a party or you know.
I love a good little. I love a little festive.
Yes.
But you guys, we're gonna go ahead and close. We're gonna do our positive affirmations. I really don't like. I'm normally like super prepared, but like honestly and truly, I'm gonna stay on the whole goal of like being fit and all the other kind of stuff. And I'm just gonna say, take care of yourself. My grandma used to always say, "Don't nobody love Louise like Louise love Louise." And so I always like that always stuck with me. Like nobody loves Aliyah like Aliyah loves Aliyah. Nobody's going to care for me like I care for myself. So I have to put myself first. I have to take care of my body. And I have to take care of my mental, and I have to just take care of me overall. And so I just want to put that out there. Like, no one loves you like you love you. So if you don't take the initiative to take care of yourself, then nobody's going to do it for you. Mm-hmm. Right? So that's my positive affirmation.
Very good. I'll piggyback off of her and just say self-care is the best care.
Hello.
In this realm of things, I know we're kind of going into the second, or we're here into the second wave of COVID. Places are getting shut down again. Make sure that you take care of your mental health, whether that be going to therapy, journaling, finding an outlet to have some fun in the home, like in your house with your family. Do something to get your mind off this craziness that is happening. Say a little prayer for the small businesses that will be hit with this second closing. We are just trying to make it through, people.
Hello.
And I know a lot of people's mental health is kind of spiraling and all over the place, myself included. I mean,
for sure.
I've been off my game since March, and I will be the first to admit.
Hello.
And so, yeah, that's my affirmation. It's not really an affirmation, but more like a
we're just trying to give y'all
some just a little gem. So yeah.
Well, as always, guys, make sure you follow us on Instagram at When Life Gives You Curves _. You can follow me personally at The Songstress.
Oh, you can follow me at Love Always JoJo.
And since you're watching here, tell a friend to like and subscribe. Make sure you comment so we can get to know you. The year's almost over. We really want to get to 200 subscribers. We're 50 away. So please, we appreciate all the support. And yeah, we love you guys. Make sure also you go to our website at givesyoucurves.com. Our fall and holiday lines are out. Okay, and so we hope that you enjoy them. The next time we'll actually be wearing them so you guys can see. But please go to our website. They will make some cute Christmas gifts for your friends or family. So you can be nice and cute for the winter time.
Yes, wear that shit at the holiday party.
Wear that at the holiday.
Well, the virtual holiday parties. You know.
True. So we love y'all. Thanks again for watching and see you next time. Bye.